Everybody loves a good plot twist. There's no better feeling than slowly being set up for a film's grand finale, but right as you're about to see the culmination of the film's seemingly obvious setup, out of nowhere the film pulls the rug out from underneath your feet and flips the script, literally giving you an ending that you would have never expected. Spoilers alert! Here are our top 10 picks for films that perfectly capture that feeling, starting off with Parasite. Bong Joon-ho's Best Picture-winning social commentary on classism tells the story of a poor family who swindles their way into working multiple jobs for a rich family who has no idea that the workers are all related. The family comes up with clever ways to trick the rich family into firing their existing workers in order to take their place. However, the infiltrators don't know that the previous housekeeper had been hiding their husband from loan sharks in the home's secret basement that owners had completely forgotten about. After the housekeeper and the family figure out each other's secrets, a bloody turn of events ensues, culminating in the father of the invading family on the run from the law after stabbing the homeowner with a knife. At the end of the film, it's revealed that he had never been on the run to begin with, but was rather hiding in the secret basement bunker at the same house, just like the housekeeper's husband. The second entry on our list is The Others, a creepy ghost story that'll keep you guessing until the very end. The film follows Grace and her two children who are awaiting the return of their father near the end of the Second World War. The creepy old mansion that they live in, as well as the need to keep the house shrouded in darkness at all times because of a condition that the children had, all added up to the perfect setting for a horror story. While they wait, the family's lives are turning upside down after several unexplainable spirits start to terrorize them. At the end of the film, Grace and her children find out they were the ghosts all along and were haunting the new family who had moved into their house. Up next, we have Old Boy, the crime thriller masterpiece written by Park Chan-wook, arguably has one of the most disturbing plot twists in cinematic history. The film follows the story of Oh Dae-soo, who has embarked on a gory quest to find the person who would imprison him for the last 15 years of his life. Along the way, he gets into a romantic relationship with a young chef named Mi-do, who ends up becoming involved with Dae-soo's mission. In the climax of the film, Dae-soo discovers that Mi-do was actually his grown-up daughter and that he had been at the center of evil revenge planned by a wealthy man whom he had wronged in the past. Old Boy is the perfect example of just how brilliant South Korea cinema is. Moving on, there's The First Scream. Wes Craven's 90 meta-slasher flick saw a costume killer roaming through Woodsboro, California, murdering helpless teens one by one. Throughout the film, we're led to believe that Billy Loomis, the main character's boyfriend, was the killer. However, that thought gets thrown out the window after the audience sees Billy get murdered by the killers towards the end of the film. But, surprise, surprise, Billy returns once again just a couple of scenes later, revealing that he had faked his own death to avoid suspicion. It turns out that he was not only the killer in town, but the murderers had been committed by not just him, but also his best friend Stu as well. This particular ending of having multiple people being revealed to be one of the killers who was the first addition to the horror game. Then there's a more recent addition to the subgenre of films, Bullet Train, a film that had so many plot twists over the span of 2 hours that you can literally never predict how the next scene would go. Bullet Train is the perfect example of plot twists done right. Throughout the film, we get introduced to 8 assassins in a water bottle, with seemingly different missions of their own. But with too many coincidences to think something foul wasn't at play, the film culminates in the fates of all characters overlapping under deadly circumstances after the mastermind behind the plot reveals that he had intended to bring all 8 of the assassins, who had wronged, to kill them all in one go. The big kicker, Ladybug, our main assassin, wasn't even supposed to be on the mission. He was stepping in for the assassin who was actually supposed to be on the train but couldn't come to the mission because of a bad stomach. A plot twist after a major plot twist? That's Bullet Train for you. At the halfway point of our list is Coco. Coco's arguably the most beautiful looking Pixar film ever released. In it, we see an aspiring musician, Miguel, who forbidden to play music by his grandmother. Since his great-great-grandfather had abandoned his family to pursue music, never to come back, Miguel takes his great-great-grandfather's guitar and musical inspiration, Ernesto de la Cruz, and gets transported to the land of the dead, where he runs into Hector, and two join forces to try and find Ernesto to grant Miguel his blessing to play music. After finding Ernesto, we find out that Hector was actually Miguel's great-great-grandfather all along, and that Hector was murdered by Ernesto, who stole all of his music. Then there's Seven. David Fincher's classic crime thriller follows the lives of 2 detectives, played by Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, as they try to catch a serial killer who's apparently carrying out 7 murders based on the 7 deadly sins from the Bible. Throughout the entire film, audiences are left to wonder how the next victim would get killed and what sin would be represented until only 2 murders are left: wrath and envy. In the unforgettable climax, it's revealed that the killer, John Doe, had murdered Detective Mills his wife Anne had delivered her head inside a box to try and get Mills to murder Doe. This would end up making Mills and Doe the 6th and 7th deadly sins respectively. Moving on, we have Arrival. Denis Villeneuve's gorgeous and heartbreaking film tells the tales of a professional linguist, Louise Banks, who gets recruited by the US military to help in communicating with alien life forms. After 12 strange spaceships had appeared around the world in different places throughout the film, we're led to believe that we are seeing flashbacks between Banks and her daughter before her daughter's death. But as it would turn out, that wasn't the case at all. Banks is shown the future by the alien life forms, revealing that time did not move linearly for the aliens and that they could exist at very different time points simultaneously, giving the illusion that they could see into the future. We find out that the flashbacks were actually just glimpses into the future that Banks had decided to proceed with, seeing the outcomes of all of her life decisions. At the penultimate entry on our list, there's The Usual Suspects. Bryan Singer's thriller flick will go down in history as one of the most famous plot twists of all time. The story begins inside of an interrogation room where Roger Kint, the survivor of a heist gone wrong, tells his story. The film is told through a set of flashbacks from Kint's mind, where we get to see the group of criminals led by their mysterious leader, Keyser Soze, being brought together to carry out the doomed heist. In the end, we find out that Kint was Soze all along, and he'd created the story using the different items he had seen in the interrogation room. Before we get to the number 1 spot, an honorable mention for Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock will forever carry the title of the master of suspense. His 1960s classic flick, Psycho, managed to shock audiences around the globe, introducing us to the psychopathic Norman Bates. At the beginning of the show, we're led to believe that Bates' mother was the one who'd slaughtered Marion Crane in the infamous shower scene. However, after her daughter Lila investigates her mother's disappearance, more blood gets shed, and we find out that the killer was actually Norman, who'd been pretending to be his mother. And finally, at the number 1 spot on our list, there's The Sixth Sense. M. Night Shyamalan is the long-standing king of twist endings. His 1999 masterpiece told the story of a boy named Cole who had the ability to see ghosts and sought help from a psychologist, Malcolm Crowe. Through the emotional yet creepy series of events, we find out that Crowe himself had been a ghost throughout the whole film but hadn't realized that he was dead. The ending adds yet another feather to Shyamalan's hat of twists and is a testament to his capabilities as a storyteller. It's no surprise that the film was nominated for 6 Oscars, including nominations for Best Picture, Director, and Writing. And that's a wrap for this video, my friends. What are some of your favorite movie plot twists of all time? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like it. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next one.